Hey, we're back at the top again today after some time, and how weird is it that after another break, I come back with a brand new league just like last year. It's just so weird how this consistently happens. Actually, this is the third time it's happened. But today I have the NPA, the National Pokemon Association draft analysis for the Seattle Staraptors, something I actually haven't done since, I believe, when I was in the GBAD League almost a year and a half. No, it was over a year and a half ago. Pardon me. So that's pretty exciting because I never did a draft analysis for season 3 and 4 of the Pokemon Global League. I never did that. But today I am going over all my picks. Pick number 1 through 11, including any transaction that has occurred. So with that, let's get on it. So the draft order is all randomized, plus it is a snake draft, so there's no specific order, and the draft order goes in like, how do I put it? It starts, we go all the way over to the right, and then it comes back from the right to the left, so then people get wheel picks. And that's why I enjoy having a draft pick near the end of round 1. That way I can pair my first Pokemon with my second Pokemon a lot easier. Because the problem is, if I have a pick at the beginning of the round, then I can't really pair it with anything, because then I gotta wait like a whole bunch more picks, and then the odds of me pairing a Pokemon with that is kind of tough. So I have to work my way around it, because I do have the third pick, which is a little bit unfortunate. But what I did end up picking is Sylveon. And now the nicknames I'm going to be going for this season isn't Seahawks players. It's like I've done twice. It's not going to be any sports related things. It's going to be what I did back in the GBAD League and nickname them after personas or demons from Shin Megami Tensei. Speaking of which, Persona 5 is almost here. That is hype. I'm still unsure if I should play it on the channel, but that's for a different time. But the nickname is Cybele the Sylveon, and the reason why I picked up Sylveon instead of everybody picking up an S rank, I didn't pick up an S rank just yet, because I didn't think Sylveon would get back to me. Now, the past 2 draft leagues that I've had, my fairy type, Florges, has been kind of passive. Like, whenever I bring it in, people tend to hit the gas pedal and just hit me with all they've got at that point. And I just didn't want to be passive. Now, Florges isn't an offensive slouch, don't get me wrong, but Sylveon just has that better offensive presence while also being able to be a reliable defensive mon. And that is key on why I wanted it. Plus, like I said, I didn't think it'd get back to me. At this point, I was thinking about picking up Necrozma, but Sylveon would not have gotten back to me. Actually, somebody did let me know that Sylveon would not have gotten back to me, because they would have picked it in the second round. So, that is a good reason why I did pick it up instead of Necrozma. Would I have liked Necrozma? Yes. But the problem would have been, I could not have gotten the fairy type that I wanted. So the problem with me picking in the first round is that I have to wait such a long time. Especially in this draft, because I had to wait 43 picks before my next pick, and seeing that all the S ranks have gotten all snatched up, or most of the good ones, I decided to stick that on the back burner and draft Hippowdon. I call it my old reliable because I've had it the last 2 draft leagues, and it's basically been my defensive crutch. If you don't know, for some reason I always seem to rely on a defensive crutch throughout the seasons, throughout draft leagues. In the PBL, it was Deoxys Defense. In the LBA, it was Vaporeon. GBAD League, I want to say it's either Registeel or Clefable. There wasn't really a major, main crutch, defensive crutch. And then, of course, there was would I say Hippowdon? I don't really know. I can't remember who my defensive Pokemon was the first half of the PGL Season 3, because I want to forget about that. But Hippowdon was it the second half, and then Season 4. It was just that massive crutch. But I'm hoping it's for here again. The nickname is Behemoth. Of course, I just had to find that really quickly. There's a reason why. If you didn't see the draft stream, then we'll get to that really quickly. But Hippowdon gives me an option for defense, because it takes many hits against up stealth rocks. It has reliable recovery. It's really good, and we'll see where we go from here. Remember how I was complaining that I couldn't pair up my first mon? Well, now since I have a near wheel pick, I can still pick up something and then try to pair with something else, because I have 4 other picks between my picks, and it's the same people, so the odds of me getting sniped are not that bad. Now, if you know me, I've gotten destroyed by this Pokemon so many times. My team is consistently weak to it, so I thought, no! I'm not doing it again. I'm not having somebody else pick this up just to destroy me. I'm not having it, so I decided to pick up Mamoswine. The problem with Mamoswine is that I cannot for the life of me find a good nickname that for a mammoth from the Shin Megami Tensei series. That's why that... Alright, well, if you don't know what Vitala is, I believe it looks kind of like an elephant, which Mamoswine's not an elephant, it is a mammoth. So, nothing I can do about that. But this thing, this dual stab is just disgusting. Because the thing is, a lot of ice types, a lot of their counters are steel types. But I mean, I have ground stab to deal with those. And then, like, oh! You want to try to avoid the ground stab with like a flying type Pokemon? Well, no, I mean, I have an ice type stab right there. I have another option to Stealth Rocks. I get, not reliable. Yeah, reliable priority move in Ice Shard. I get Thick Fat, which means that I lose a weakness to fire, and I gain a resistance to ice, which is very cool, because then I can maybe fire back with a Stone Edge, and that'll all be good. But I'm just glad that this Pokemon is not going to be raining, or should I say, icicle crashing on my parade and my season. Not this season. So I'm looking at my draft, and I see that I have doubled up on ground types, which means I have a weakness to grass and water ×2 on the team, so I need to figure out what to do. I'm looking at it, and I see that a grass type would work well. And I was looking at Decidueye, but unfortunately it did get sniped right up before my pick. It would have been a great help because it resists both water and grass, and it resists the fighting type, rather it's immune to it, from Mamoswine, and Sylveon does resist the ghost type, or excuse me, the dark type that Decidueye would have been dealt with. But there was also a Pokemon I was going to pick on the wheel pick when it came around again, but I decided just to bump it up around just because it was a better priority. And I had decided to take Mantine. It did get some buffs that helps out with its stats and such. Plus, it did get Roost, so that gives me a Pokemon with reliable recovery. It's going to be great because I already have 2 ground types. It has a quad weakness to electric, which, like I said, those are immune to, so I'm able to deal with that. It's also weak to rock, but again, the ground types work so well with that. So I believe those are its only 2 weaknesses, and it just really fits really well. Plus, it gives me a reliable hazard removal. Not necessarily reliable, just because it's weak to rocks and such, but, I mean, it's also a flying type, so let's see what happens with that. It has a massive special defense stat, but because of the HP boost and it gives a chance to roost now, it'll be a key pick, especially because it's a tier 4. It's kind of crazy how this is in tier 4, because a lot of people have been putting it up in like tier 3 or 2, and it might be a steal. Who knows? So after I picked up Forneus, I was looking at it because, of course, this is my wheel pick, and I'm talking with somebody, and he goes, wait, why is Alolan Marowak still there? You should totally pick it up. So I did, and I already had a nickname for this because this is what I nicknamed my Alolan Marowak in-game already for my competitive one. So, I mean, it works so well with Mantine, and there's going to be no electric spam on this team that I'm going to be facing, rather, because, of course, I have 3 electric immunities now. I mean, I could run Cursed Body if I wanted, but you have to look at it this way. So Mantine, like I said, is weak to rock and electric. Of course, man, I know Alolan Marowak is weak to rock as well, but Mantine is also immune to ground. I don't know about you, but I feel that's kind of clutch. In clutch situations, that can work. Alolan Marowak, of course, has the Ghost Fire type. So the Ghost type did shift around from the water... from the grass type to the fire type in the fire water grass core. We'll see how it works. I think it can work well. It all depends on which Pokemon I can pick up for the grass type, and I have to be looking around for it, definitely. But Alolan Marowak definitely will come in handy, especially with that wish support from Sylveon, maybe. I don't know, it doesn't get reliable recovery, but so it might have to lean on Sylveon a little bit, depending on what the team structure will be. I don't know how it'll work, but we will definitely see. So another 43 picks come and go, and I'm just seeing a bunch of grass types leaving the draft board, and I'm like, I need to fill out this core. And had I picked Decidueye, oh my word, this would have been great. Because what did it have? It had, the typing was amazing, don't get me wrong. It had reliable recovery, it had hazard removal, it had, I mean, true, it also had the, priority and initiative. It was basically a grass Swiss Army knife. But then I was like, you know what? There's another Pokemon that does that. I managed to find it. And this Pokemon is Serena. And what this is, would I say it's a poor man's Decidueye? I don't know. Because it does get initiative. It does get hazard removal. It does get, as well, what was it called? Reliable recovery. I'm not quite sure if it does have any priority, but it does block priority with Queenly Majesty, which might come in clutch as well. So, it's still a pretty good pickup. It's not as good as Decidueye, as it doesn't have that typing and or the priority. I'm not quite sure if it does have priority. Don't you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it is in the role that I was wanting it to be, wanting Decidueye to be. So I'm still happy with this pick. Don't get me wrong, but Decidueye would have been a lot better. But this pick is like the next best thing, which I'm still happy about. Just like all the grass types are being taken, the steel type was definitely dwindling at this point. So, with that, I needed to figure out what steel type I wanted, because there wasn't much variety remaining. And what I did end up picking is Bronzong here, Norn the Bronzong, and I have some experience with Bronzong, don't get me wrong. I did have it in my last draft league. Of course, I drafted for Mega Aggron because I feel like Mega Aggron is better because of that filter ability. But the thing about Bronzong here is that Bronzong does have the neutral fire type resistance, not even a resistance, it's just neutral. Due to heat proof, it has levitates to avoid the ground type moves, which will be clutch as well if I wanted to have a little Marowak, for example. It all depends on what we have. Plus, it's a reliable stealth rocker. I mean, I could set up Trick Room if I wanted to. It's definitely a niche mon, but it's the steel type that I was looking for. I'd have experience with it, so I know what I'm doing here, definitely. Now, this next pick, I think it deserves the Dark Horse Award from the Seattle Staraptors. And, well, I can't even call it a Dark Horse. It's just a mishmash of animals. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Type Null. Or should I say Chimera, the Type Null, as that is actually another demon from the Shin Megami Tensei series, Chimera. But Type Null here, I'm very curious on how this is going to work, because It takes a lot of hits with Eviolite, with those stats. I mean, if you look at it, it's 95 HP, special defense, and defense. Combine it with the Eviolite, it's wicked. It gets U-turn. If you don't know me, then you know I live and die by the initiative. And we'll see what happens here, because it can't even get crit. So, there's been times when people's defensive Pokemon gets critted, and then they go, no, I lost this game because of that. But I don't even have to rely, or rather, I don't even have to worry about crits because of battle armor. So, it's definitely a dark horse, or should I say a dark animal? What do I even call you? Here we are in round 9, as this is, I believe, the other side, and I'm looking at electric types. Not very many left. We have like a Molga, we have Electrode, we have Zebstrika, we have Electabuzz. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I really need some speed here. And Emolga is, I mean, it's another flying type, and I don't really need another flying type. Zebstrika looks pretty interesting, but that 116 speed is still pretty quick. But in the end, I pick up Electrode. It's fast. I feel like its role here is not to do damage, because it does have the same special attack, or near same special attack as Zebstrika. So, I didn't really feel like Zebstrika was worth it, because I wasn't looking for power here. I'm looking for, like, that disruptor, if you know what I mean. It's more supposed to be in, like, a support damage role, if you want to call it, because it is really fast, so it's on another level for speed tiers, because it also got boosted up It got 10 more base speed to boost it up from 140 to 150, so it is a speedy electric type. It gets Taunt. It gets Aftermath, which might come in clutch. Like, if I need to sack something off and Electrode is there, and I don't really need it anymore, I can just throw that out there. They get hit by Aftermath. It's a wild time. It does also get Sucker Punch. Odds are I'm probably not going to use it because of the... I mean, I'm already fast as it is, and its attack is like base 50, so... yeah, in the end, that is the goal here. So we are nearing our final wheel pick, as this one was coming back to me from the right. So I'm thinking, you know, I have a very bad weakness, and it's going to be kind of tough to deal with all the ghost types, and the dark types, and the psychic types, as at this point, I believe I only have one psychic resistance, and that's Bronzong, but what can Bronzong do with a psychic type? Kind of nothing at this point. Plus, I also don't really have any dark type resistances, and I also don't have any ghost types, other than type Null, but, I mean, what is type Null really gonna do to it? I can't really just rely on type Null, so I'm gonna need to think of what to do here. And I did have something in mind, but then that got sniped, and I'm thinking, what do I have? Like, what dark type can I pick up? I only have enough for Alolan Raticate. And I don't really want that, because that's just a giant fat rat that isn't really... It's pretty slow, its defenses are not very good. I don't know what to do. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. If I get a bug type, that can help me with my psychic type and my dark type issues, as it super affects it. And somehow Excelgor made it all the way down to me, and Jiraiya the Excelgor might come into clutch if I am up against a Pokemon, like a psychic type Pokemon or a dark type Pokemon that's giving me trouble. If they're on the opposite team, and I'm like, oh man, that's gonna give me so much trouble. I can bring this thing, outspeed it, just be that speedy nuisance, you know? Plus, it's another initiative Pokemon, so yeah, you heard what I said. I love initiative. It's just crazy how this is. I'm picking up speed to try to mitigate my slower Pokemon, so we'll see how this goes. I know I will enjoy it, and it does patch up those weaknesses I was talking about. Now, I only have my S tier left here in round 11, so I can't pick up an S tier 1 because that's a 100 point kickback. There wasn't really much left minus Buzzwole, I believe. S tier 2 I could have picked until I picked Excelgor, and there really wasn't that much left either. I think there was like Alakazam and Pinsir. I was considering Pinsir, but that doesn't really help that doesn't really like mitigate anything. Like, I was thinking about Pinsir before Excelgor. I think I was gonna go Dark type plus Pinsir, but in the end I picked Excelgor and Mega Sharpedo because I did have to pick up an S tier 3, which would give me the 40 point kickback for that Excelgor pick to make it legal. So this is still a dark type, don't get me wrong, and I know I can't use speed boost. A lot of people were saying like, I don't know about this pick because it does it's kind of heavy. You can't even use speed boost. Yeah, I'm kind of aware of that. I know I have to mega first turn, and I know the Sharpedo might come in handy. It does get a little bit better defenses when it mega evolves. It still gets that priority. Now, the thing about this is I was comparing it between Mega Pinsir and Mega Sharpedo. They both have the same speed. They both get priority. But the thing is, you always have to rely on not necessarily rely on, you know Mega Pinsir is going to be physical. Now, I'm not saying that I'm running Mega Sharpedo special every week, but it does get over base 100 special attack, so don't think I'm just going to be running it physical, because I could go either way. Odds are it'll probably be physical, but hey, I am not going to be ruling that out. And it gets Strong Jaw, and it gets the new move Psychic Fang, so it's going to be interesting how this works, how it fits, but it does give me options. And I don't even have to bring Mantine every week because I have 2 water types. So, we will see how this goes. But we do have an update, as right after the draft ended, I had to drop something, and that something was Hippowdon, as it just didn't really fit my team anymore. I like the idea I was going for in the draft was, I believe, like a mild sand team where some could use sand. It doesn't have to rely on sand completely, but it can still be available. And I know I'm going to miss that crutch, but I needed to deal with something else. Like I had a bigger issue to deal with. the Hippowdon didn't really work because my idea just fell off after certain Pokemon were taken, and it just, I didn't want to just run it Sandforce every week. So in the end, I needed something for those dark types, and I didn't fill out my Dragon Fairy Steel Core, so what I did was, I could have picked up Goodra, but that still doesn't really help with my dark type issue. That's why I did pick up Como-O. I don't really know how to pronounce the nickname. It's like VRITRA, I want to say, and I don't know, I've never used it before, well, nobody's ever used it before, except for the leagues, and it might have been going on for a little bit. But with that, though, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Generation 7 Pokemon, and it'll be very interesting how this works, because I can run it physically or special, you know, get Clanging Scales and Flamethrower. Kind of wish it got Drain Punch. I'm not gonna lie, I really wish it got Drain Punch, but the reason why I switched out Hippowdon as well, I'm not going to miss the electric type immunity, as the Como-O is still resisted to that electricity, and I get a resistance to water, grass, and fire, so I lose a weakness to water and grass and gain a resistance to it. I mean, I think that patches up things better. Now, losing Hippowdon will hurt because I lose that defensive capabilities, but I feel like Como-O kind of wraps this team up completely. It patches up things better, and we'll see how things go. But with that, though, I hope you did enjoy this NPA draft analysis. Our first game will be up against Kyle A and the Miami Dolphins. We got quite a powerful rain team to dissect and hopefully destroy. Hopefully. I'm not saying I am going to, because you never want to underestimate anybody, no matter what. That's the first rule in competition, at least my rule. But with that, though, videos will be returning here pretty soon. I'm working on stuff. I said we would return February 12th, but that's not entirely true, as I don't have all the stuff that I have. But the battles will always be on Saturday. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do a team builder on Friday. I want to have room for other videos, so I might just combine the two. I am thinking about doing what kind of paying homage to a certain other draft league battler and doing it the style that he does it. So we'll see what happens. So if you did enjoy, go ahead and show some love to the like button by dropping 1 from the top, and subscribe if you have not and are excited for the NPA or anything else I'm going to be bringing it to the channel pretty soon here. But with that, though, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you back at the top later on, because that is how you do one.